Hi folks, and welcome to the first episode of Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. Now, first off, what is Cataclysm? Well, Cataclysm is a traditional roguelike in the sense of death is permanent, the world is procedurally generated, and it will be a little bit different every time, even if you set it with exactly the same parameters. And you have, your goal is to survive and kind of make your own story as you go. Cataclysm does have a quest system, although I haven't really explored that too much. Cataclysm, story-wise, so what is the Cataclysm? Well, the Cataclysm is essentially every end-of-the-world situation that we currently know as even a trope or a possibility is on here. So there is nuclear war, there is science run amok, there are zombies, there are broken cyborgs, there are mutants. It is an absolute nightmare, and you have to try and survive within it, and that's what we're going to do. So the first thing we have to do when you start up Cataclysm, you normally get it in half screen, but I put it straight to full screen. We have to make our world. So, great world. I've deleted all my other worlds. I'm not super great at this game, I'm still kind of figuring it out. I did play it a lot when it was earlier, but it has advanced a lot since then, and a lot of what I knew is no longer true. So, we're going to pick our mod list. So, Ice Coon's Arsenal we're bringing with us. We want more survival tools. We don't want Bright Knights. We want mutant NPCs. Sure, we'll go NPC traits. We want more buildings, more locations, tall buildings, and urban development. This makes cities feel a lot like cities. In the Cataclysm generation, you can sometimes get areas that are literally like, it's a stop-off, it's like a house and a gas station next to a library. Like, the generation key can be a little bit wonky. We're taking the folding parts pack. Now what that does is exactly what you think it does. When you make vehicles in this game, 'cause you can fully customize vehicles, you could make something that folds. Say, like, you make a tiny little folding moped that is literally just an engine with a chair on top of it, and then the chassis folds at the halfway point, so you can put it in the boot of your car. Or you could make a folding trolley, like, you know those old lady trolleys that they go shopping with? You could make one of those that, while you don't have stuff in it, the sides fold down, so it's easier to carry. That kind of thing. We want that. We're bringing in tanks and other vehicles. This brings in military vehicles. And we're going to bring... No, we're not going to do that. So, next up we have the blacklist mod. We're not going to blacklist any of this. This is all base game components that you can remove. Now, fungal and acid zombies I see be removed quite a bit. Acid zombies will ruin your gear pretty quickly, and fungal monsters, they can be a pain to deal with. You have to move if they're coming, essentially. Now, no monsters. If you play this game and you decide that you want to start off easy, this will actually remove everything. Not just all specials, or not just all mutants, or all cyborgs. Anything except base generic wildlife will be gone. Now into balance. So there's two things we want here. I want simplified nutrition, which means that I don't have to deal with getting... I already have to deal with getting enough food. I don't want to have to deal with getting the right food. I feel like it adds a lot of stuff to the game without actually adding anything fun. And then we have stats through skills 4. Now what this does is, let's assume that we start off as a tiny pasty computer nerd with a 6 in our strength. In the base game, we would stick with 6 strength. That would be what we were working with throughout the game. Stats through skills, if we are that same pasty nerd and we decide that we're going to sling a sledgehammer at some zombies' heads for a couple of days, we will improve our strength through essentially working out. Now, world map. At the end of the... like, when we die, we will die, we are going to reset the world automatically. So we die, the world resets, we spawn a new person within it. Now, the size of cities, we're going to bump that up to 12. That is 3 times their normal starting size. And we're going to double the distance between cities to really make them feel like urban centers and not just stop-offs along the way. That is actually bad for us. Stop-offs along the way are a great place to start. Monster evolution scaling. This does, over time, essentially, the monsters get more difficult because you are going to get better at the game. Your character is going to be pretty good. We're going to leave all this stuff. This is just the time of the year we start, and so wander spawns. We're not going to use this. This option spawns zombie hordes that will track you via sound, and I'm not a fan of those. We're not going to make classic zombies only. That makes it a little bit easier in my opinion. We're going to start with random NPCs. This will allow people to just wander around the map who are NPCs, and static NPCs, we're not going to bother. This is really easily abusable, because if you start off with a static NPC, which you nearly always do, you can just lead any monsters to them and they will fight blindly and ferociously and basically do all the heavy lifting for you for the first day or two. Now we are going to bring experimental Z levels. This will allow like up and down movement in houses and what have you, and we're going to align the upstairs to the down. So we're going to finalize our world now, and our world is called Macmillan. So, we have our world. Now what? Well, now we make a character. We're going to make a custom character. We're going to go from start to finish. So, this is our character creation screen. We can pick between multiple, single, and free-form pools. Multiple allows you to carry points from one thing to the next, but not backwards. So points you earn in scenario, you can spend on profession, and then onto traits, stats, and skills. But stats you earn, points that you earn from, say, traits, you can't then go back and spend on profession. I think that's how it works. It's a little bit odd. Single pool means you just get the points. No matter where you gain them, you can spend them wherever you like. Freeform is infinite. You can make a god tier character infinitely and be cool. So we're going to go with multiple pools. The most, I think the most used. So the first thing we're going to pick is our scenario, and we are going for helicopter crash. What this will do, this will start us out wounded and restrict our professions to a couple of different military professions. Speaking of, here are our professions. These are the things that we can choose between, and you can see they either cost, well, these all cost points to take, but they cost different amounts depending on which one. For instance, this bionic sniper costs 8 points because it gives you bionics, it gives you a silent sniper rifle, it gives you ammo, and it gives you a lot of skills. That is a lot more than 8 points worth of skills. That is 100% worth it if you're looking for that kind of start. Our military recruit starts us with not nearly as much. We start off with basic army clothes, but not much in the way of armor. I think we start off with an army helmet and some combat boots, but no real, like, you know, vests or anything like that. National Guard starts you with a go bag, like you didn't even get there. Special Operator starts you, I think, with silent submachine gun. The Bionic Soldier starts you with some pretty nice gear as well. It starts you with a really nice assault rifle. We're not going to go with all those. We're going to go with the simple military recruit. It's going to start us with an M4A1. It's going to start us with some gear. It's going to start us with a knife and a little bit of skills in using stabbing weapons and our rifle. So traits. Now we're going to start off in a crashed helicopter, which means we're going to start off wounded. But we're also starting off with some good gear. So to balance that out, we are going to take the extremely slow sleep healing. This means at the start of the game, those nice big urban cities we generated, those will be death traps for our character. Because we're starting off wounded, we're going to be slower at everything we do, we're not going to be as good at anything we do, we're probably going to start off bleeding, and then we're going to have to run off into the woods and spend a day or two just kind of fixing ourselves, getting our bearings and gathering supplies before we even think about heading into the woods, into the urban centres. And that, you can see at the top there, has given us 8 points. We can then spend those 8 points on the left side. These are the good traits, these are the negatives. So what do we want? Well, to offset our extremely slow sleep healing, we're going to take the fast healing. What this does is slightly offsets the sleep healing, but also lets us regenerate a tiny amount of health while we're awake. The next thing we're going to take is, we're going to take Indefatigable. We're also going to take 2 more. We're taking Optimist, Outdoorsman, in fact 3 more, because we're going to take Night Vision as well. And you can see we've now exceeded the amount of points in the positive column as the negative, which means we have used a point from the next pool. We don't want to do that, so we're going to look through and look for a negative that's not too bad, worth 1 point. Let's see what we could take albino. We don't want to do that. I think we're going to take addictive personality. We don't plan on taking too many drugs, but later on, if we get to the point where we want to install bionics, and then we take like meth to do self-surgery, it's going to suck. Now stats. Because we have stats through skills, we're not going to do too much with this. We actually want to spend as many of our points as we can over here in the skills tree. So we've already started off with decent skill in our rifles. It's not fantastic, we were only a recruit, we weren't the best, but what we definitely want points in is dodging. We're going to put 4 points into that for a good reason. Melee sucks. You do not want to be in melee, especially early game when you don't have the skills and you don't have the equipment to help you survive. Next up, we're going to put a point in fabrication. This will allow us to at least start making the basics of pretty much anything. We're also going to get a point in cooking. First aid. Like we may put... No, we'll go for just 2 in the first aid. So we're level 2 first aid. And we definitely want points in melee as well. Now we have points in piercing weapons and we have that nice knife. So that's probably what we're going to start with. But we still have points. So what do we want? Well, I think we want survival. Will let us make a little bit more stuff and help us with our scavenging and what have you. And then we're going to want a little bit of points in archery. Archery is a great skill in this game. It's going to help you out a lot with our fabrication skill. If we get lucky, we might be able to make a bow and arrow. Because that M4, that is our last resort. We do not want to be firing that. Zombies and other monsters are attracted to sound. And a bleeding, loud thing in the wilderness is a dinner bell. So, who are we? Let's find out. We are Miles Broche. I think that's Broche. I'm going to say Broche. We are Miles Broche, the helicopter crash surviving military recruit. And let's see what the world looks like, eh? So this is our game world. Cataclysm uses a tile system. Now we have not actually started near anything. What's that? That is apartment towers. So we actually know there is a town up to our northeast next to a swamp. Now, and swamps are great sources of food, as are forests. We are going to have to find a place to hold out. Our right leg is severely injured and bleeding, so is our left arm. We're going to leave a blood trail as we explore here, until those stop bleeding. Now, I don't believe you can just outright die or lose a limb at the start of this. Okay, so we have some spiked plating. We're going to carry that. We might be able to use it for something. Military black box. We'll pick that up too. I don't believe we have any kind of rucksack. We don't need a sharp rock. There we are, we've stopped bleeding. But as you can see, up in the top right corner there, our left arm and right leg have 1 red bar out of the 5 bars they should have. So we're at less than 20% health on those limbs, essentially. And that's going to slow us down a lot. So what's our plan? Well, we're going to grab one of these rocks because it will provide us with the hammering quality. And then we're going to go down into these woods to our left. Oh, there is a teleporter there. That's new. Take one last look around here. Make sure there's nothing sticking out of the rubble that we can use. Looks like there might be something under there, possibly the engine from the helicopter. And I think our plan now is to skirt the edge of these woods, try and keep as much vision as we can. And these pieces of long grass here, we're going to forage through them. We found a handful of acorns. Nice. I think those were just sitting on top. So we're not finding anything right now. But essentially, this is what we're going to spend at least the first little bit of our day doing. We are going to be gathering things from the wilderness to help us survive. Now there is a long stick there. That could be useful. Because we don't have a backpack, we're now going to have to wield this stick. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to treat our little crash site. No, we're not going to take the crash site. Let's see, what tile can we make camp on? I think right at the top of these woods where they end would be a good place to start. So let's see, what are we looking at here? Newspaper page. Bags, bags, bags. They're very useful things if we didn't have bags, what would we use to put a lot of things in? Add by Play School Clothing Company. That's a little bit of a meta joke, I think, about the game, in that a bag is a pretty vital item, that if you don't find, you don't get to do much. Like, you can't carry much in the game. So, just off the top right corner of the forest here, we are going to drop all of this stuff, and then we're going to start searching, and we're going to just drag more stuff to the pile. The more we find, the better. Now, black rats, that's fine. There's a good chance we won't be staying here permanently. But for now, at least, we definitely don't want to be heading into town. So we've got a syringe there, we could use that for meds later. I think it's empty. So we found a blood-soaked rag and a syringe out in the middle of the forest. So we're obviously living in a classy neighborhood right now. But hell, it's the apocalypse, what do I know? Oh, ceramic shard, that could be used for something nice. Thyme, nice, some herbs. Now, we don't have anything to cook in yet. We're going to have to try and sneak into town tonight to find something to do that with. But all of this stuff that we're picking up right now is a potential crafting resource. So all of you people who are, you know, hoarders and pack rats who absolutely must have everything, Cataclysm is your natural environment, because you never know when you're going to need one of these things to make something else, to go through like a chain of 20 items to make the thing that you want, and then to be missing one thing that you've probably left a dozen of behind is a pretty common occurrence for Cataclysm players. At least early on, until you realise that absolutely everything has a use, even if its use is just to be deconstructed or burned. Everything has some kind of use. So let's put down this other stuff that we've got here. Let's see, can we actually make anything yet? Well, we could make an addle-addle, which is moves per attack is 70, that's really good. This is a throwing weapon. What is this? A wooden tool for supporting a javelin to throw it more efficiently than by hand. Nice. We can also make throwing sticks. I wonder if our addle-addle could throw that. Let's see. Bashing weapons. So that's the weapons we can make. Let's check ammo. We could make a wooden crossbow bolt. Fortunately, we can't make a crossbow. We can peel the stems of our stuff. Oh, we could make a distaff and spindle. Oh, that's not what I thought it was. You know, I thought that was a fire starting kit, but it's not. It's the stuff you use for spinning yarn, I think. Now then, I'm not seeing any pine trees, which is unfortunate, because from those you can... it's only plastic, I thought that was metal. Yeah, from those you can get pine boughs, and you can make a lot of survival sheltery type stuff out of that. But for now, this is getting up our survival skill, and it's keeping us busy until nighttime, because that's when we're going to try and venture into town and find a couple of, you know, a couple of actually useful items. That's going to be a smash and grab. Hopefully we're not going to actually see any zombies, but that's unlikely. So the things that we're really looking for out there in the town tonight, when we make it to it, we're going to be looking for something to start fires. A packed tent would be amazing to find, but I don't think that's going to happen. A functioning vehicle would be super nice, because that's something we could base out of while we're out here, and you can see we have actually healed a little bit through the day. Ooh, glass bottle, that's great. So that's something we can boil in, and that was one of the things we were really needing. Because you don't start off with a boiling vessel, you can't purify water, you can't cook some of the meals. We could make a pointy stick, and we could use that for cooking basic meats. So right now, as long as we had something to start fires, we would actually have everything we need to survive to a certain extent. There's a pine bow. Get enough of those. Oh, speaking of, let's Pick the pine tree. Yes, what do we get there? Okay, so we got pine balls. So we're gonna have to drop a few of these, it seems, and come back for them. But that is a-okay. So we're gonna go back for those pine balls just now, because enough of those could build us a survival shelter, and that would be super handy to have. Where was that pine tree that just struck? There it is. So I'm going to take these back, and let's see if we can actually... So we press Shift 8 for our construction. I'm going to Shift Find, and we're going to look at shelter. Let's see. Improvised shelter. Okay, so we have the tools with cutting, we have the hammering. We would need 12 heavy sticks or 6 2x4s and a lot more pine balls. Now the pine balls we can do relatively easily, but I don't know what we can do about the heavy sticks. There will be some lying around in the forest, but I'm not sure if we could gather that many of them. At least not easily. We are going to keep our eyes peeled for more pine trees, because one more of those, or like 1 or 2 more of those, we would actually have most of what we need. Now we're just passing time here again, waiting for night time. We don't actually know what time it is. We have a rough idea of how high the sun is in the sky. Now that dog is probably tracking us because we smell like blood. We're going to Shift V to look at this thing. It is tracking. That means it is actively following us right now. We do not want that thing to get super close. If it gets close and sees our condition as how wounded we are, there is a good chance it will attack. Now it's more likely to attack in a pack than on its own, but we definitely do not want to be fighting a bunch of dogs. Okay, so we have another pine tree here. Only 2 pine boughs out of that. See, how many pine balls do we have? We have 8. So we're not even halfway. But we can at least make a fire tonight. Now then, what we're going to try next is pretty inadvisable. See, do we have it? We have nothing to eat. Nothing to eat, nothing to drink. Oh, there is a giant wasp out there. We don't want to be dealing with that. So that is to our northeast. That is actually where we want to go. So instead we're going to head south. What I'm going to try and do, make my way through this forest here. We'll still keep our eye out for things along the way. This newspaper. Let's take a look at this newspaper, see what this one says. Labs bombed. In further invasion, proof discounting earlier suggestion of a riot drug. Most of New England's scientific labs were bombed simultaneously yesterday. No word from the military about who the aggressors are. Now obviously we have a little bit more context to that now. Seeing as the world ended, it seems fairly likely that they bombed themselves to try and keep the things in the labs that are now not in the labs. So it didn't particularly go as planned. Okay, so we have fish and what have you in this swamp. So later on we can definitely use this to be a source of food for us. But there are a couple of things that I think we need that I want to just make a run through town and grab. So we have a road here and our apartment block. We're going to avoid the apartment block. That is going to be full of zombies. What we're looking for is a vehicle. Oh, we don't want to dive into the deep water. Now we're just going to avoid the apartment block. What a giant dragonfly. Is that thing going to try and attack us? I think it is. Oh, there are zombies already coming out. We're going to start running. Going to hoof it along this bridge. Now, does this looks like a pickup truck. Take a look. It has everything it should need to work. Unless it has a faulty engine. Let's take a look. Okay, its engine is damaged, so it's not guaranteed that this is going to work. but it does. So we're actually going to remember the position of this car. We're going to stop driving it. As odd as that might sound, what we're going to do is dive into the APC here. Okay, we've got some ammo. Pair of earplugs. Now, does this work? No, this has nothing. It works. So we've actually taken damage there. We're going to start running, and we're going to leave that thing stuck behind the NPC, or the APC. So what we have here, this has a lack of wheels. You can see on the bottom left corner, one of the most common things for vehicles is for them to be fully functional for the most part, but not have wheels. Or at least not enough wheels. So, we're gonna grab that pack of cigarettes. And a trowel. Well, that has a butchering quality and a digging quality. So it looks like that apartment block is probably a no-go. Okay, so there is a spitter zombie down there, so we have to make this quick. Heroin, great. We're gonna actually grab this. We have that addictive personality, so we're not going to be using this all too often. But heroin is actually a great concentration item. There it is. That's what we were looking for. We have a gun. Okay. We're going to stop wielding our pine bow. I forgot we actually have. Huh. So that zombie just turned into a black blob. Now black blobs, those are an issue. The blue ones, they're okay. The black ones will actively hunt you out and attempt to eat you. So I think we're done here. We're gonna head home. I don't think we got what we were looking for. We wanted something to... We're not done. We need something to start fires. We're gonna slow to a walk. Let's take a look on a map. Okay, so we didn't actually start near a town. So I think we might actually just keep going. I think those pine bows and that other stuff we gathered, I think that was just a waste. Now let's take a look at this tech. What is this thing? The Tech 9 is a submachine pistol made of cheap polymers and machine stamped parts. Its rise in popularity among criminals is largely due to its intimidating looks and low cost. Ah, I see, I remember this thing. If you ever seen the movie Wolverines, they have one at the start and they demonstrate just how like bad the Tech 9 was. At least for accuracy. It was just a short range bullet splitter, and it is that's a minefield there. Okay, we have a box to our northeast. Which direction do we go? I think we're gonna head east. We're gonna try looking east. Hopefully we'll find a vehicle on this road that we can sleep in for the night. Okay, we have a crash here. All this rubble typically indicates a military helicopter crash. Nothing we can do with it now. If we had a shovel, we could dig through that. But we don't. This is another exploded thing here. Okay, so we have a military black box there. That orange thing. But nothing on the surface that we can use. Okay, now darkness is coming. You see on the bottom right, we're losing our colour vision. Pretty soon, the real darkness is going to close in. Now luckily, we have night vision, so this isn't going to be as bad for us as it is for other people. If we were a regular person, our vision would be much more severely hampered right now than it actually is. Okay, this road just ends. So we're going to start heading back. Now we have safe mode on, so if we encounter anything, if we see anything on this road, the game is going to automatically stop for us. This is a long road. How far are we? What's that V up there? Gas station. That's going to be where we start out. Now there is a chance we will have to kill what's in there, if there is something in there. Take a look, do we have, what's on this? We have a 223 rifle, and it's modded with a shoulder strap. Okay, that's the only mod our rifle has, is a shoulder strap. I was really hoping for a silencer. Okay, what we're going to do, I'm going to close everything in this hippie van, which is functional, assuming the engine works. Not sure where the engine is on this thing. Okay, it is functional but damaged. We are going to try and sleep. The reason we're doing that, we want to be able to see when we get to that gas station. Okay, we wake up. It's not... We actually healed quite a bit there for our extremely slow healing perk. Hopefully there is a building to this and it's not just like a... Oh, this might be it. Dagnammit. Okay, so what can we do now? Well, what we can do now is attempt to start a hippie van. Look, the engine is just... Oh! It started for a moment there, and then died. So the hippie van is unfortunately a no-go. Same as this gas station. I was really hoping that this would be, you know, something with a... Oh, wow. This is a lot of wreckage. Okay, so we have a crawling zombie there. That's not too much of an issue. But let's take a look at this. What are we looking at here? So this is... What is this? Should have a name somewhere. This is a cube van. It has gas, it has batteries, it has an engine, it has controls. Let's examine. Its engine is also damaged. Let's see. Okay, so it's damaged. We can't rely on this being a long-term vehicle. What we can do is drive this down the road to save ourselves some time. And if we run into anything along the way, potentially run it over with this thing. And then, if it makes it to a city, we'll park it on the outskirts and use it as a little base of operations for a while. Now then, we're going to stop, but we're not going to stop driving. We're going to let go of controls, because there is absolutely no guarantee that this machine will start again when it dies. So, get items. What do we have here? We have salted popcorn, and we have a steel jerry can. We are definitely taking that. In fact, I think, does this actually have... Okay, so the steel jerry cans, we can now siphon fuel if we find a hose. Just step through the smoke. What do we have here? Oh, a 2x4. Okay, so we're going to drop our jerry can in there. Probably also going to drop our extra combat knife, our trowel, and all of this heroin. Oh, and these 7 sticks, 2 bullets that we can't use. And we're going to close that. Now, so how much fuel do we have left? Still 2% of our fuel. We're going to get our control of our truck again. And we're going to keep driving. Now, because of the space we put between cities, it might take us a little bit to find one. And we're already very hungry and thirsty, so we aren't going to have much time to try and find some supplies. Now, thankfully, we have healed a pretty considerable amount. That day healing is actually stronger than I thought it was. I'm going to close that door. Zombies can grab you out of your vehicle. Okay, so similar thing, we have a police car here. Oh, and a solar car. That could be very useful. We're going to let go of our controls. So this has a lack, but it has lack of things. Let's see, this has enough. And do the controls work? If the controls work, we might have just found a better vehicle. No controls there. Okay, I think the controls are just being straight up removed from this thing. So what we are going to do, we're going to go on our map. We're going to make a note of solar car here. The reason we're doing that is if we get mechanic skill, we might be able to come back and take those solar panels off along with the motor it has and give ourselves more options for other things. A little bit of a shame we couldn't use that, but it is what it is. So this road, we're going to try and do a little bit of a shortcut here. Try and save some of our fuel. We don't have much. What are we down to now? Probably 1%. So 32 is actually like the top safe speed for this van. And we're not going to exceed that because our driving skill is pants. And we will most definitely die if we do. Okay, we have a bus coming up. So same thing. Oh, damn, we turned it off by accident. We still have 2% fuel though, so the fuel's actually doing us really well on that thing. So let's examine this. This would work if the batteries were charged, but they aren't. Let's see, what do we have? A sling pack. Yes, that's a bag. Nice. So we are going to wear the sling pack. Let's see, what do we have to eat? Okay, so we're now dehydrated. We're suffering stat loss now. There we are. So eventually this thing will start up. Just have to jiggle it around a little. And here we are back on the road. Hopefully we find a city here. If not, I guess our first run will end in us dehydrating to death. I mean, if we feel particularly... Like, if we get worse than dehydrated, I think there's like an extreme dehydration, we will find the nearest source of water, and we will just stick our face in it and drink it. Now, everything in this game is controlled with keyboard. It's all, basically, this game is 90% the numpad, and memorizing shortcuts. Ooh, it looks like we might have... Yeah, that's a military thing there. So, anti-material turret, and these are hostile. We don't have any kind of military ID, so those will murder the crap out of us if we get close. So we're going to scooch around. There's a giant frog there. And we actually spun out a bit, because we keep running over little animals. And we've just lost a bunch of our vision, because our wing mirror was knocked off. Oh. Okay, well, we're not going to go there. You see that mutant there? That thing is called Amigo. That's another drug deal. It's possible there are resources there, but I wouldn't fight Amigo. Even with the car, considering how damaged our car is, we're as likely to break our engine as we are break the Amigo. They're extremely durable. Okay, what is this? This is a FEMA camp. Now, there is a potential for stuff here. There is a greater potential for zombies here. Okay, so they're straight out. We're going to wield our Tech 9, and we're going to start taking shots, which is F. We're going to press P for precise shots. We're going to get the one that's closer to us. Okay, we're not going to be able to... I don't think we're going to be able to do this. But we don't have a choice. We, okay, yes, stop aiming. We're gonna turn off safe mode. We're gonna try and run. And we're gonna now manually start aiming. We're gonna press 5 to spend a turn aiming. And we're gonna just keep doing that. We're just gonna keep running away. We're out of ammo on this thing, so we are actually gonna throw it. That did damage. Awesome. We're now going to try and get a little bit further away, and we're going to bring out our good gun, our M4. So that actually took some time. Oh, the coyote tried to help us out there, I think. I think at this point we might actually be too wounded and dehydrated. To do this properly. Looks like another coyote has come over to help us out a bit. Now, as long as we don't get an infection, this is actually not too bad. We now have to deal with this coyote. It is random, like it is aggro, so it will. Holy crap! Yeah, we're doing that. Okay, so zombies will come back to life if you don't do something about it. Oh, nice. So what we're going to do about it is just smash some zombie corpses and see if we can make our way into town. This rifle, what is this? It's a Bullpup 5.56 rifle. Awesome. So we'll use that when our M4 runs out of ammo. And our plan here is just to, yeah, we're going to kill them all. We're very hungry and we're dehydrated. We cannot afford to turn around. So we're going to fire precise shots. Now, thankfully, regular zombies are much easier to kill than some of these ones we've been dealing with. There we are, so we're going to smash these ones too. This is a FEMA camp, which is obviously where a lot of things were... Damn it, Coyote. You could have lived. You made me do this. So I don't think this character is going to be a survivor, looking at it realistically. But we're going to try our damnedest to clear out this FEMA camp. Because with the amount of military zombies that are here, we might be able to continually replenish our ammunition stock. Okay, so we're just going to throw our M4 on the ground. Holy crap, okay, we're going to fire our flamethrower. Okay, so that went well. Holy crap, this thing's great. Okay, I have a new favorite toy, but I no longer see any zombies. Now, I don't want to be firing that thing in these camps, so let's see. What do we have in here? Okay, so this was the little military hut here. The military zombies were just crawling out of. Oh yes. We are drinking the hell out of that soda. Alright, so back into the camp. And a lot of these tents are just dead. What's that? Rags and what have you. So yeah, we're not going to be able to do much with those. We are now going to search the zombies. We're going to smash them and search them. Also, no, we can't. Okay, I was hoping we could make a crowbar. What is that? Ooh, magazines. Burnt zombie corpse, but not. Okay, so some of them did burn up entirely. So there's a magazine empty. There's some scrap metal. stuff. Okay. Well, we're now going to continue looking through this FEMA camp and hope that we find some more food and water. Although so far, it's not looking super duper likely that we're going to get what we want. Ah, science zombie, okay. So we're going to fire a precise shot. We're going to start picking up our casings from this stuff. Cash card, we're going to take those. If we happen to find a vending machine anywhere, that'll be actually quite useful. We have some hydroxin, something or other, some medical gloves. Glass flask of human blood. I think I'll pass, thank you. So we can get some BBs from that guy. Don't think we care that much. Oh. Gonna drink that cola. We're still dehydrated, so there is a pretty good chance that we are gonna have to resort to drinking pond water. So let's smash all these bodies before they stand up. I'm going to do that by pressing S and then the direction of the body. Hammer, nice. Can use that for crafting a bunch of things. A really worn out lighter. Another cash card. Motorcycle helmet. Ooh, a screwdriver set. Nice. So those tools will be very useful for construction if we manage to survive that long. So the FEMA camp was essentially a bust. We didn't get much out of there. We are going to have to drink river water. That's a very bad thing. There's a good chance this is going to make us very ill. But we are no longer extremely dehydrated. So that, while it's a bad thing to have done it, it's better than starving. So we now have this rifle, we have 18 shots left, we have a flamethrower, we have some tools. Hopefully, in the next episode, we will find a place where we can set up shop, try and gather a bunch more resources. Otherwise, we're not going to last too long. I don't know how much fuel. We have 0% gasoline left. The truck is basically gone now. Huh. I guess we're going to decide right now whether this place gets a second episode. We're going to grab back up that hammer and screwdriver set because they're actually really good, quite difficult to replace. Is there anything else in here we want? Take that trowel. Unfortunately, we can't bring the jerry can. And what we're going to try and do now, with absolutely no skill, we are going to attempt to swim. And I think, yep, we have just been eaten on the bottom of there. I don't know if this is actually going to do anything. Well, our torso is broken, so we have died. When your torso breaks, you die. But I don't think the game has programmed in drowning yet. And that is the end of Stephen Peterson, the helicopter crash victim. He, out of desperation, attempted to swim the lake, and it didn't go well for him. Zombies dragged him to the bottom, and he was nommed at the bottom of the lake next to the FEMA camp. Achieve, we start the Cataclysm, folks, and that's the way it's going to go. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.